The little plastic bag has been riding in your golf bag for 3 seasons now, pressed flat against the liner where you stash your tees and ball markers. Inside it, the wrench is still wrapped in its original sleeve, the metal unmarked, the grip never touched by a thumb. It came free with the driver you bought, and somewhere between the pro shop and the first tee, it became invisible. You are not alone in this. The evidence across the game says most golfers who buy an adjustable driver never adjust anything on it at all. A consumer survey from a couple of years back found that a striking majority of people who had bought a new driver in the previous year left the loft and the face angle exactly as they came from the factory. They paid extra for the adjustability, then never touched the tool that makes it work. Here is the part that should stop you. That wrench does not just change the loft. It changes something else at the same time, something that matters more for the way your ball curves in the air, and almost nobody explains it to you. The one setting on your driver that could fix your most expensive miss is the one you have never been walked through. That is the trap, and it is worth understanding. The average senior golfer who fights a fade or a slice has been told for years that it is a swing problem. Your hands are releasing early. Your body is not turning through. You are coming over the top. The advice is endless, and the assumption underneath it is always the same. The club is fine. You are the problem. But the club has a mechanical correction built into it that the industry rarely mentions, because mentioning it takes time and sells nothing. That correction lives in the hosel, the part where the shaft meets the head. When you turn that wrench, you are not just tilting the face up or down. You are also rotating the face left or right in relation to the shaft. Most golfers set the loft and never realize they have also moved the face angle. Some move it in the wrong direction for the miss they actually have. Think about the miss first, the fade that bleeds right, the slice that starts left and turns into the next fairway. For a senior golfer, that pattern often comes from a reduced rotational speed and an earlier release of the club. The face is open at impact. The ball starts where the face points, and the curve follows the path. It is a mechanical sequence, and it is incredibly common. A large share of senior golfers develop exactly this fade or slice pattern as their tempo changes. That slice pattern is not a life sentence, and it was never just a swing flaw. It is a mechanical face angle issue the club already corrects. Subscribe if you want to keep uncovering the built-in fixes the industry never sells, because the dead money is where the real correction hides. In the comments, type dead money. What you just heard is the surface. The Dead Money Golf ebook goes 7 levels deeper. Every mechanism, every markup, every number fully sourced. 120 pages of what we can't post here. Plus the vault, 5 private video investigations that exist nowhere else. Link in the description and pinned comment. If you have ever been told your fade or slice was simply your own fault, the fix is already in your bag, waiting. Now bring the wrench back in. If the face angle is closed 1 or 2 degrees at address, the face is less likely to be open at impact. The ball starts straighter or even slightly left, and the sideways curve shrinks. There is no swing change required, no hours on the range. Just a quarter turn of that tool that is still in the plastic bag in your bag right now. The numbers behind this are worth sitting with. A test by a major golf publication found that closing the face angle by 1 degree reduced the sideways spread of shots by 11 feet at 150 yards. 11 feet. That is the difference between the fairway and the first cut, between a clean look at the green and a punch-out from under a tree. And it carries directly to the tee where your driver does its work. Here is where the frustration should settle in. That 11 feet of correction is sitting in your bag, unused, because the factory set the face angle for a stronger, faster, younger golfer. The neutral setting is not neutral for you. It is open relative to what your swing needs. And the 60% of senior golfers who develop that fade or slice are playing a club that was adjusted, out of the box, for someone they are not anymore. The industry knows this. The fitting cart at the big box store knows this. But the fitting flow moves you toward a new driver, not toward turning the one you already own. A fitting that ends with you keeping your club and turning the wrench sells nothing. A fitting that ends with a new purchase pays the rent. So the conversation skips the quarter turn and the wrench stays in the plastic. Remember how the survey found that most golfers never change loft or face angle from the factory setting? That is not a coincidence. That is the business model. The adjustability is a feature that justifies the price, and the confusion around it is a feature too. If you never decode the settings, you never correct the problem, and you come back in a few years for a new driver that promises the distance you lost. The wholesale labels do not help. Some use numbers, some use letters, some use a mix that looks like a code from a spy novel. Without a fitter walking you through it, the settings stay gibberish, and the wrench stays untouched. But the code is learnable, and the payoff is the fix you have been chasing with your wallet. Let me show you what to actually do with it. Next time you are at the range, take the head cover off your driver and dig out the wrench. Find the screw in the middle of the hustle. Turn it to full turn, counterclockwise to loosen it, lift the head off the shaft, and look at the markings around the bottom of the sleeve. That ring of letters is where the answers hide. You're looking for a setting that closes the face. Depending on the brand, it will be labeled with a C for closed, an L for left, a minus sign, or a position like a quarter turn toward the closed side. The manual in the box explains the code, if you still have it. If not, the brand name and the model number in a search will get you the chart in minutes. The code is learnable, and if your wrench is still sealed in that plastic pouch, you have just seen the business model with the cover off. Subscribe so we can keep walking through the fixes that cost nothing and the upsells that quietly bleed your bag budget, because the next one is already hiding in plain sight. In the comments, tell me whether your driver has ever left the factory setting. Then type dead money. What you just heard is the surface. The Dead Money Golf ebook goes 7 levels deeper. Every mechanism, every markup, every number fully sourced. 120 pages of what we can't post here. Plus the vault, 5 private video investigations that exist nowhere else. Link in the description and pinned comment. Before you change anything, feel where the face sits at address right now. Then set the sleeve a click or two toward the closed side of the chart. Twist the screw back down and hit a bucket with that new setting. Watch what the ball does at the start of its flight and at the end. The curve you have been blaming on your swing for years may simply shrink. That is the quiet fix that nobody at the pro shop will tell you about. It takes 90 seconds to do, costs nothing, and uses the tool you already own. And it is the reason the $150 fitting often feels like a dead end. The advice stops at the swing, because the swing is what instructors get paid to fix. The face angle is what the club already fixed, if you knew where to look. But hold on. If it is that easy, why is the message so rare? Why does the instruction world keep telling you the fade is all in your body? Part of it is the money. A flatter, straighter ball flight does not sell lessons. Part of it is the assumption that most golfers will never touch the settings anyway. So why explain what a hosel does when the customer just wants to be told their swing is fine? There is also a genuine knowledge gap. The adjustable hosel is a relatively recent invention in the long history of the game. For most of golf, you bought a driver with one loft and one face angle, and you lived with it. The idea that the club itself could adapt to your miss is new, and the teaching world has not fully caught up to it. Many instructors still think in the old terms. That combination is why you have heard about loft, because everyone knows loft exists. Why you have heard about weight tracks, because they are increasingly discussed in the reviews. But the face angle, the one that corrects your curve, stays the mystery. It is buried, poorly explained, and avoided because addressing it means admitting you have a swing flaw rather than just an age-related power loss. The power loss gets the attention, the fade gets ignored, and the setting that could help both is the one you have never touched. That is the system working exactly as designed, and the only way out of it is to understand what that wrench actually does. Do you fight a fade or a slice off the tee? That question matters because the answer tells you which direction to turn the sleeve. If the ball starts right and stays right, you want the face closed at address. If it starts straight and then bends right, you still want the face closed, but the setting may need to be more subtle. A single click is enough to start. The test by the major publication measured the 11 feet at 1 degree. That is the smallest meaningful change you can make. Most golfers who try it go 1 click and see a noticeable difference in the way the ball launches. Some go 2. Very few need more than that. Very few need. The face angle is powerful because it changes the relationship between the face and the path at the most important moment of the swing. Here is the self-recognition beat you have been waiting for. If you have stood on the 10th tee, watched your drive bleed into the trees, and told yourself you are just getting older, you know that feeling. It is quieter than anger. It is acceptance. You pack the club away and blame the calendar. But the calendar did not open that face. The factory did. And the wrench that could close it has been in your bag the entire time, still in the plastic, waiting for the 60 seconds of your attention that it has never once received. That is not an age problem. That is an information problem, and it is fixable today. The practical path is embarrassingly simple. First, find the wrench and the manual. Second, identify your miss and the setting that closes the face for it. Third, make the change on the range, not on the first tee. Hit 10 balls with the new setting before you decide. The curve will not vanish overnight, but the 11 feet of spread will start to come back toward the center. What you will notice is a ball that starts a little more left than you are used to. That is the face angle working. Give it the bucket. Let your body adapt to the new look. Within a small session, the starting line becomes comfortable and the sideways bend shrinks. The fairways start to look familiar again. That wrench has been in your bag the entire time, and the change it makes costs nothing. If you want to stop missing free fixes like this one, subscribe so the next quiet repair does not sit unused in your bag for another season. We are not here to sell you a new driver. We are here to expose where the money quietly leaks out of your golf game. In the comments, write "dead money." What you just heard is the surface. The Dead Money Golf ebook goes 7 levels deeper. Every mechanism, every markup, every number fully sourced. 120 pages of what we can't post here. Plus, the Vault, 5 private video investigations that exist nowhere else. Link in the description and pinned comment. If you have ever watched a drive bleed into the trees and blamed the calendar instead of the face angle. Now, consider the financial side for a moment. A new driver that promises more distance can run well past $500. A fitting session can run past $100. The face angle change costs nothing and takes 90 seconds. The return on that quarter turn is the highest in golf, and it is sitting in your bag, ignored, because nobody told you it exists. That is the real reason this setting never comes up. It is free. It takes 90 seconds. It uses the club you already own. There is no transaction in it. No new purchase, no fitting fee, no lesson package. The entire golf economy is built on the next driver being the answer, and the face angle sabotages that story. The industry would rather you believe the distance is gone for good. That belief is what keeps the replacement cycle running. You lose a few yards, you blame age, you buy the new head, you gain a few yards back, and the cycle repeats every few years. The face angle breaks that cycle because it recovers some of the distance without any purchase at all. Let me be direct with you. The most profitable upgrade in golf is not in the pro shop. It is in your bag. It is the part of the driver you have never touched. The quarter turn that closes the face is worth more to your scorecard than any new head on the rack because it fixes the miss you actually have rather than the one the marketing imagines for you. You were set up to believe the wrench was for someone else. For a golfer who understands hosels, who reads the manual, who knows the code. But the tool is not exclusive. It came free in your box. The only barrier is the 30 seconds of instruction that nobody gave you, and that you now have in your head. The quiet irony is that the cheapest fix in golf is the one that the industry least wants you to find. The face angle is the forgotten setting, the mystery dial, the tool in the plastic. Once you turn it, you stop needing the new driver, and you start being the golfer at your club who quietly hits fairways while everyone else blames their swing. That is the position to aim for. Not the guy with the newest head in the bag, the guy who understood that the fix was already in his hands and that the industry was betting he would never look at it. You took the look, the wrench is out of the plastic, the quarter turn is yours to make. The next time you are on the range, do not reach for a new purchase. Reach for the head cover, pull out the wrench, and give that forgotten setting its first real turn in years. The ball will tell you the rest. The fade has a mechanical answer, and it has been riding in your bag the whole time, waiting for you to notice it was there.